Let me introduce about Dr. Yasemin. Dr. Yasemin is a visiting professor at London School of Economics in Media Communication Department. She has been member of the UNESCO International Clearinghouse on Children and Violence on the Screen and of American Biography Institute. She also worked as a visiting scholar at Columbia University in 1994, at New Delhi University Media Studies Center 2014, at 𝐂𝐫𝐬𝐿𝐵𝐈 University Institute 2017, and at University of London 2021. She has been working as the head of Professional Ethical Codes Monitoring Board at the Turkish Journalists Association. Her area of interest are media criticism and hate speech. She has written several books, and few of the books I mention here. A Guide to Media and Children 2008, Hate Speech and Hate Crimes 2012, Internet and Street 2015, COVID Diaries Pandemic 2021, and New Liberalism and Media 2021. And there is still a list is there. So today, Professor Dr. Yasemin will give her speech about populism, media, and democracy, a complex relationship. So now I would request to Professor Dr. Yasemin to please come here and deliver her keynote speech.
Hello, all esteemed participants. I'm deeply honored and grateful for the opportunity to serve as one of the keynote speakers of the second International Conference, Media and Communication Research, hosted by the Institute of Media and Communication Studies at Bahauddin Zakariya University. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to Professor Shahzadi, the distinguished chief organizer of the conference and the director of the Institute, for extending to me the invitation to participate in your conference. And my presentation will focus on the intricate relationship between populism and the media, exploring the complexities and implications within the context of contemporary society. And I'm confident that this distinguished event will provide a platform for engaging in substantive discussions and exchanging insights with fellow scholars, practitioners, and students. As you all know, populism is characterized by its strong emphasis on the so-called homogeneous people who are perceived to be suffering, oppressed, neglected, disadvantaged, or threatened. And it emphasizes both the significance of the people and homogenization, and the lack of consensus on the definition of populism has rendered it in a contentious concept, particularly given the objections and criticisms regarding to its essence and usage. And many scholars define populism as either an ideology or political attitude that divides society into two categories. One is the ordinary people, and the other one is the corrupt elites. A crucial characteristic of populism is its emphasis on the central role of the people in the political process. And populist leaders assert that they represent the voice of the people, which is systematically ignored by governments and mainstream political parties. In summary, populism is a multifaceted and evolving political phenomenon that encompasses various interpretations and dimensions. Central to populist strategies is the exaltation of the people, identification with the people, and opposition to the elite. And populist leaders, much like Hitler did in the past, endeavor to create a negative image of the elite, especially by aligning themselves with the glorified people. As part of this strategy, they appeal to the common sense of the people and employ a language that evokes emotional responses from the people. And this sense of closeness helps populist leaders establish a stronger relationship with the people. And populist leaders seek to portray themselves not only as representatives of the people, but also as individuals who protect the values and interests of the people. In this context, popular culture and the values of the people serve as important tools for populist strategies. And by presenting themselves as part of the people, populist leaders seek to enhance the emotional and cultural ties of the people. And populist leaders, populist rhetoric often targets an enemy and positions itself as a protector against this enemy. And this approach helps populist leaders present themselves as the true advocates of the people. And populist strategies necessitate an adversary to redefine themselves and maintain the support of the people. Therefore, many right-wing populist groups employ the strategy of creating conspiracy theories in which the elites engage in conspiracy. And these theories position the populist leaders as the genuine saviors of the people by asserting that the elites are undermining the interests of the people. In this manner, populist leaders explicit such oppositions to secure the loyalty of the people and maintain their support. And populist leaders aim to increase their political power and achieve power as their ultimate goal. But democracy is the greatest victor in this scenario. So they discredit the democratic system. Populism impacts not only politics and communication, but also social transformation, inevitably leading to change in the media. This change, while creating significant disruptions, also leads to polarization within society. And populist practices reduce ordinary people to mere spectators in the public sphere, while the man on the street, who is actually at the core of the public sphere, begins to play more active role in the media. And in this context, the media begin to deviate from its traditional functions and becomes a tool serving only those who dictate. In this transitional process, the media tends to mitigate the destructive effects of populism's anti-elitism strategy of populism on politicians, and particularly leaders' credibility, attractiveness, and of course, believability. And many media organizations, nearly all of which have become the ideological apparatus of the state, begin to align more with politicians rather than opposing voices. And there is a yearning for a society where diverse voices are not heard and frequently use slogans such as one nation, one flag, one language, etc., begin to permeate society's discourse following politicians' rhetoric. And the danger begins here. It can be argued that where diverse voices are silenced, populism steers towards fascism. And for example, in Turkey, the ownership structure of the media has long been a controversial issue. The consolidation of the media ownership in the country and the association of some major media outlets with political power increases the impact of populism on the media. And the effects of populism on the media in Turkey include threats to media freedom, freedom of expression, and impartiality. Therefore, media ownership is a very important issue that needs to be addressed in the context of populism. And in Turkey, practices such as internet trolling and surveillance and even punishment of many individuals for their social media posts are becoming everyday occurrences. If we put aside the effort on social media in our country, it is extremely difficult for dissenting voices to find a place in the mainstream media. There are dissenters, but there are very few who engage in oppositional and alternative journalism. There are famous dissenting commentators on TV, but they address their audiences from their echo chambers, as you all know. And in fact, this situation also serves populism, threatening plurality and differences. Right-wing populist leaders outside the European Union share roughly the same ideas, but they have managed to gain power through different ideological and political practices. Leaders like Boris Johnson, ex-Donald Trump, Jair Bolsonaro from Brazil, Narendra Modi from India, Rodrigo Duterte from Philippines, who pose significant threats not only to their countries but also to international institutions. And populist leaders around the world condemn independent press and media organizations, traditionally considered the cornerstone of liberal democracy. In the United States, for example, ex-President Trump often accused the mainstream media, once popularized by Joseph Stalin in the Soviet Union times, of being the enemy of the people and liars, and communicated directly with his followers through Twitter. And populist governments, as in Hungary, have funded only the media that are allied with them, cut the advertising revenue of independent newspapers and radios, or taken over the media to serve as a propaganda machine for the government, as in Poland. And populist leaders are considered skilled communicators because they effectively and efficiently use the media, especially the social media, to communicate their messages to the public and influence the masses. Their goal in society is to strengthen their power, portray those who do not approve of their policies as a potential threat, and target the media. Populist leaders often employ manipulation and perception management strategies through the media to convey their messages to the people and influence the masses. And the ownership structure of the media provides a suitable ground for such strategies. Populists control their messages more effectively by either holding their own media outlets or establishing close relationships with media owners. In the process of mainstreaming populism, we should not overlook the role of social media. Populist parties around the world have rapidly embraced the power of social media, integrating them into their political communication tools. And in a sense, social media platforms are the primary allies of populist actors. To understand how populism has become mainstream, we need to examine how populist ideology has spread, and populist actors strengthen their messages through social media by reaching a wide audience through, of course, social media. And social media facilitates the spread of false or misleading information, intentionally or sometimes unintentionally misleading content by political actors. And social media platforms have also become a breeding ground for conspiracy theories and other misinformation, undermining the credibility of the media and, of course, undermining the ability of citizens to make informed decisions. Algorithms often prioritize content that people can interact with, and this carries the risk of echo chambers where individuals receive only messages that reflect and reinforce their existing beliefs. And since populist messages tend to be sensational, algorithms can disproportionately reward and propagate them. Moreover, micro-targeting allows political actors to tailor their messages to specific groups to maximize their impact, and reinforcing people's existing beliefs in this way further exacerbates polarization in politics and society, threatening democracy. And while social media facilitates free expression and exchange of ideas, drawing a line between where freedom of expression ends and hate speech begins is quite difficult. And regulating hate speech and content containing insults remain a challenging task for social media platforms such as Meta, Facebook, Twitter, and of course the governments. And populist parties often invoke freedom of speech to defend their rhetoric. However, hate speech has the potential to disrupt social cohesion, undermine democratic norms, and of course, many threaten the minority rights. And the increasing significance of social media pose challenges for populist leaders. Social media provides a platform where censorship and bans can be easily contested. Conversely, governments can now silence social media and use posts from these platforms as grounds for arrest. Moreover, there are instances of governments, I'm concluding, engaging in counter-propaganda through fake accounts or profiles, utilizing both their supporters and technical capabilities. Therefore, it is evident that complete internet freedom is unattainable as long as internet providers remain subject to state control. In conclusion, populism presents certain elements to society. These include polarization and antagonistic societal framework, a homogeneous populace, and the claim of being the singular representative of truth and morality. While these aspects may serve as a voice for a socially marginalized and address unresolved issues, they represent a short-term positive force for democracy as they undermine its core values and viability. In the long run, the polarization and legitimacy claims of populism can pose a threat to the quality of democracy and even to the human rights. Thank you for your attention.